my question is about CGI and cartoons and stuff like that. Has it ever been thought up that maybe, like, I don't know if you've discussed this with your some of the people that you discuss in your councils and stuff like that. Is it possible to come up with a system where you can get fan feedback, like actually do some sequences, because you say there's a lot of debates, and say you could have like 6 sequences that everybody's been debating of the same thing that they're working on, and then just have people either vote for it or say, like, give input and stuff like that. Like, these are 6 sequences, and have like maybe forums or something like that.
Well, the glib answer is no, but the correct answer is I did a film a few years ago that made $190 million worldwide, made $80 million on DVD, it was a big success. But it was called The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and every review said you didn't follow the comics. Well, we never even tried to follow the comics because the comics were like 4 issues of characters sitting around having tea, going, "Holy jeez, we need to do something," and then doing something. The comics were fantastic, but we never tried to do the comics, and we got crucified for not doing the comics. So one of the things I did when it looked like we were going to do Transformers is I put up on my website, a friend of mine has kept a website for me, this message board it was on donmurphy.net, and it was for fans to kind of weigh in. And as we were developing the script, what's got to be in there, There was an early draft where RC showed up, and the fan outcry was, for the most part, a lot of people liked RC, but there was a fan outcry going, what is there, RC doing in here? What's going on? And now RC is no longer in there, and it was partially because the writers and the other producers and myself had that board to work with. So the correct answer is no. Movie making is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship run by the guy writing the check. In this case, Steven Spielberg. But at the same time, we have tried, and I've met friends. I mean, the reason I'm here is because I met Shan, and I met Reggie, and I met G-Man, and I met Brian, some other people here from the message boards, and the message boards were a way to interact with the fans. Like Brian Singham, who's a friend of mine I did Our Pupil with, and he cuts the sound in my student film. Brian Singer did these daily reports from the Superman set. Peter Jackson did the same thing. Guillermo del Toro, who's a good friend, had this interactive board on Hellboy. But this is the first time, I think, anyone's actually, from the moment we announced the movie 2 years ago, it's a pretty fast process on this one, till now, we've been interacting with the fans that have been, there's been other boards going, oh, don't go on his website. Anyone that's wanted to has been able to post on that website and at least reach my ears, if not the other producers. And the writers have been on the boards asking questions for the last 6 months. So the answer is no. There's no way to do that, but we have.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Hello, my name's Alex.
Hi, Alex.
As you said, the Decepticon lineup isn't confirmed, but if Soundwave is in it, as it's been supposedly confirmed a lot of times,
Soundwave's in it currently,
okay.
And he's a CD player.
Okay.
And to be honest, I'm being honest, it's not working for a lot of people, and so that's why I'm being candid. I'm only allowed to say certain things here today, but there's a move afoot, which is what I said to the other gentleman. There's a move afoot to, instead of getting him wrong,
yeah,
and having the fans go, they screwed up Soundwave,
to just not include him,
to just move him to the next movie and just get rid of him for now.
Yeah. And I'm seeing how that could go wrong if they had to make toys for the cassette drones, which would now be CD drones. I don't see how they could make that very articulated.
Actually, very well done, Alex. Very well done, Alex, and by counsel, yeah. No, Alex. The only thing I will say, which is kind of surprising to me, because I'm not even acknowledging that the drones made it into the movie, which is why maybe we want to move Soundwave along. But one thing I will say is, in an early meeting, Aaron Archer, who some of you know, who protects the brand over at Hasbro, brought in very articulated CDs that did transform, and they looked pretty cool, which surprised me.
Okay.
But that being said, I don't want to be the guy that screws up Soundwave, so we're trying.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, it's me, Phil, again.
Hi, Phil.
I have a suggestion for a scene for the movie. You can take what you will with it, but I I heard that there are going to
You
be.
going to sue me if I use it? No.
No problem. I heard that there's going to be an attack in downtown Los Angeles. If there is, could Megatron or Starscream or any other Decepticon please step on and crush and kill Paris Hilton? You know, it could just be walking along, steps on something.
We'll take it under advisement.
Thank you.
My name is Dave.
Hey, Dave. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. One of my questions I think was shot down earlier, but I'll ask anyway. I was kind of wondering with the Generation 1 stuff, I was wondering how you were going to solve the proportion or the dimensional inconsistency when either the Autobot or the Transform or the Decepticon household items like Sound Blaster or something in the original in the original cartoon, there were small items that just transformed into these huge robots.
That's mass shifting, which is what I was saying. We're trying to avoid mass shifting in the first movie because we're trying to sell a mass audience that have never heard of what Transformers are on the idea of transforming robots from outer space. So there's a thing called a gimme when you write a movie or you do a movie, right? There's a limit to how many gimmies you can, you just kind of go with your gut. It's like, okay, there's a giant lizard from Japan, he's a loose in New York, and he's got heat vision, and the more gimmies you have, the more it starts to sound silly. So in the first movie, the gimme is there's a robot battle of these giant creatures from the planet Cybertron. They're fighting each other on our Earth, and we're stuck in the middle of it. And we're not stopping to explain mass shifting. So I guess the answer to your question is there's no character except currently Soundwave who becomes bigger when he transforms than he is.
Right. Okay, cool. Thanks.
So we answer. In the first movie, we answer it by not even addressing it.
By not even addressing it. So that solves that problem then.
Yes, sir.